Phil and Will are back. Survivor. Oh, you want me to say Survivor Specialist? Survivor Specialist. I don't know how I'm going to ever shoehorn that in. Phil and Will are back just sounds so damn good.
Phil and Will are back, the Survivor Specialists, here to break down episode 5.
Here to specialize in finding really attractive women good at the game and then watching them get voted out. That's what we specialize in. We think they're good at the game because they're really attractive and they get voted out really quick. It's heartbreaking. Will, I can't imagine you're doing all right. This was an interesting little episode, though, because of the fact that they had this swap with 13 people and the effect that it had on the beauty tribe just because Julia was the one who went to this, who got screwed and like sent to Exile Island pretty much. And that really did put a huge target on all of the beauties' backs. I knew as soon as this swap happened, one of us was losing our winner pick tonight. It was just set in stone after that.
Yeah. With the way it looked, Michelle, for not going to tribal, had a great episode because she did get a lot to say. We talked about this in our predictions episode. You can go listen to that. I think we are pretty on point with a lot of things. We just kind of, the beauty tribe really did get kind of screwed here. We even said like it's probably going to be 2 tribes of 6 and one person has to do something on their own and will rejoin. We didn't really break it down numbers wise, but there was a 3 out of 13 chance of this thing actually being okay and not screwing someone. Like if one of the Brawns gets that, go to the Brawn camp, stay there by yourself, then I think we're okay. There's no one tribe being targeted necessarily. But if it's a Brain or a beauty, it's definitely like 100% going to happen, unless you would get 4 on one tribe, 1 on the other. But the chances of that happening are so low. I mean, this was never going to work. I don't know how.
I think they got backed into a corner by the Caleb thing happening. They said we're still going to do the swap. Let's see what ends up happening here. They throw it out there. They say one of you is going to get screwed here, and it just so happened that it's. And I don't think that beauty is still screwed now. I think Michelle's okay. I think Nick's okay. I think Ty's okay now, and I think Julia's okay because I think there's bigger problems now. I just think that this came down to people did not want Ty and Anna to be able to team up them with Julia and possibly pull over a 4th because I think they knew the beauties were a little bit closer and they didn't want this to happen where the 3 beauty girls or whatever ever ended up reuniting. Even with Nick and Michelle on the other side, people were just worried. If you get that 3rd person, that's 3. All they need to do is pull over one more person. It's clear on the one tribe that lost tonight that Scott Pollard would be that one person if one of the Brains go home. And on the other side, it would be whoever – it would probably end up being Kyle or Sydney or whoever ends up losing a person in this situation would be the person who ends up getting pulled over to the beauty. So, I think that you had to get rid of a beauty here, and it just crappily worked out. I don't know if I explained that right at all, but it made sense in my head.
Well, essentially, if you don't get rid of a beauty, you're falling on the wrong side of the numbers. If you're not. Yeah, exactly. If you take any Brain person, any Brawn person on either of the 2 tribes, if they don't vote out a beauty, then their tribe is going to be 6 and there's going to be 3 beauties, or there'll be 3 beauties make up half the tribe, and that's obviously not okay. So it was very much set in stone. The idol stuff at the end, it really became a much more exciting episode than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be kind of like an Anna Ty toss up. Ty, he'll probably play his idol, and then we say goodbye to Anna, but. I think the editing this season has been awesome. For the first 5 episodes, I'm on board. You could look at a lot of these boots and say, hey, Anna, that was kind of a predictable boot. Ty is much more of a provider. Anna's much more of a game player. She's more of a threat. They need to get a beauty out. That's pretty predictable. They did at least make it exciting. So I enjoyed this episode completely.
I think this season is absolutely on fire. I really do. And I thought that the tribe swap, I thought it shook out well to create drama. And here's where I think that a mistake was made tonight. And I know it's way too early to say this, but here's where I think a mistake was made tonight. You have 6 and 6. On this tribe, you have 3 Brain, Ty, Anna, Scott Pollard. If I'm Ty and they say we're voting out Anna, I almost feel like Scott likes you so much that what you do is you give your idol to Anna when you know Anna's going home. You blindside Peter so there's no longer 3 Brains on your tribe. You bring Julia in. You have a solid 3. Julia Anna, Ty, not splitting up, not for a very long time. They pull in Scott Pollard, who seems very on board with Ty. Seems like he loves Ty. There's your 4. You control this tribe. On top of that, you go into some sort of merge situation. If Michelle makes it there, you have 5 people, plus Jason, plus Sydney. That's 7. You control it no matter what. And if you're the Beast, you have more than the Brawn does. You could have picked off the Brains one by one, all the way down to nothing, and Scott Pollard would have sided with the Beauties over the Brains. Because otherwise he's drawing rocks.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And, I mean, like you're saying, Scott was totally with Ty, like, the entire time. I mean, he took him aside at the end. And Scott was saying, how this will work out for him. I almost think if you're Scott, you'd rather, stick with the Beauty anyway. I mean, there's still 5 Bronze left, even if they get a Beauty out now. What you could have done too, this would have been the real move, is that Ty plays the idol for Anna, Julie comes back, and then they throw the next 2 challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And then
get rid of the 2 Brains.
Get rid of the Brains.
Aubrey and Neil, right? Is it Neil? Or no, it was Joe. Aubrey and Joe. Bye-bye. That's it.
Just get rid of them 2. Peter goes home, when the idols played. And then you're heading into a merge, and you have your entire Beauty tribe, sans Caleb, and you're sitting in a pretty good spot.
Golden.
Yeah.
Because you have 5. You have half of the merge tribe. And here's what's crazy about this whole situation. The merge has been happening earlier and earlier every season. And these people seem like they know what they're doing out on this island. I will give this cast a lot of credit. They seem like – I think that they know what they're doing. Not all of them. But Anna knows the game. I think Michelle knows the game.
No, I don't think Michelle does, because she said –
Really? I think she does. I think Ty knows the game.
She said she was shocked that the tribe swap was –
Here's why I think she was shocked. I knew you were going to bring this up.
Already happening? I
knew you were going to bring this up. Here's why she was shocked. 13 people left in the game. That's why she was shocked, because it was an odd number, and I'm assuming they probably thought that some sort of swap wasn't going to happen until the numbers were even, and that's why she was shocked. I don't think
that's a good explanation, but she said already, as in, like, it's too soon to have any swap at all when it should have happened one person earlier.
Yeah, I just think that this comes down to, because Caleb got pulled, they did not think a swap was coming this week because it was an odd number. So I think that's why she said it.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's fair to bring that up. Yeah, that's what I really believe that. Because I think, honestly, we kept talking about, like, these Beauty women, they're getting painted in a really good light. Michelle had a fantastic episode tonight. To not be the one who goes home, because I really thought she was gone. The fact she didn't go, I think they're setting her up to do really, really well. How she said, I'm going to sit back and wait for something to open up. Now she just got to actually wait for that something to open up. And on the other side, it was kind of like I don't think Anna got arrogant. It was just that Anna really had to rely so heavily on Ty. Michelle's not relying on Nick at all.
Right. No, I hear you. I give the players a lot of credit. I think it's been a really fun season so far. It's just kind of we've talked so much on this podcast how we really like this Beauty tribe. We like pretty much all the characters except for Nick, but even him, he's kind of funny in his own right, talking about how he wants to kill the chicken so badly. Seems to have very, pretty bad social skills, and he says he does. He's like the best social person in the world. So that's funny too. So we like that whole tribe. For them to kind of, like, we got a Medevac with Caleb, and now we got this, like, tribe swap where Julie's on her own, which causes Anna or Ty to be the target 100%. Like, it does have a kind of a bad taste in my mouth, because we really did like this tribe.
I agree with you. I completely agree. I feel like Anna, man, she had a lot of game left to be played, and I think she got screwed here. I mean, she's not a bad player. I really don't believe that she deserves to go home at this position, and I don't think she even would have been targeted had Julia not been the person who got sent to the island. If she didn't get sent there, I bet you they're targeting Peter, because nobody likes Peter. So if Julia's not the one who gets sent there, and let's say it was just 6-6 or 7-7, they're targeting Peter because no one likes him. Scott easily jumps on board and just votes out Peter with him.
Right. No, it's very true. Is there any kind of thing to say maybe she did play too hard? I know she was in a really tough spot. We see her throwing Ty under the bus pretty early in the episode. Obviously, that can be, editing, playing tricks. She did that after the challenge, but they showed it earlier. I don't think that's the case, but maybe she should have tried to break up the Brains first, instead of throwing Ty under the bus. Because when you throw someone under the bus, it's almost like, look at me, I'm playing this game hard, I'm out for myself, as opposed to getting Ty together, maybe realizing Scott and Ty have a good bond. That's 3. All you need to pull over is one more, find that crack with Peter. I'm not saying necessarily would have worked, but it might have, and we didn't see it.
No, I agree with you. I think that anytime you throw somebody under the bus, it shows desperation too. And a lot of the players out there, they don't want like a loose cannon like that. And everybody liked Ty. So they're not going to sit there and be like, oh man, she's throwing Ty under the bus. She's so great. Let's vote out Ty. I think they all really like Ty, and this kind of bothered them a little bit. The only thing that I don't think Anna played too hard. I think she did everything she had to and everything she was supposed to. I really think this came down to she did not convince Ty enough to play the idol. I think that's all that this episode comes down to is Scott Pollard was more convincing than Anna was. And if Anna was more convincing and she brought up what I just said, which is Julia comes back, it's you, me, Julia, Scott. Boom. We go all the way to we lose the next two challenges. We got two people to vote out. We don't even have to worry about it. We re-team up with Michelle. We re-team up with Nick. We run this game. And I don't think she pitched that to him.
Right. There may have been that, but I don't think Anna even knew the vote was coming her way. I think she thought Ty was getting voted off. And so when we see that surprise look like, Ty, play your idol. Why aren't you playing your idol? I just thought she was like, wow, interesting. Ty didn't play his idol. It's what are we going to go to rocks? And then she realizes, oh man, the vote's on me. I don't think she ever knew to really fight for herself. Like say, Ty, play the idol for me. Because it's easy to tell someone, look, you're going home, you got to play the idol. That's one thing. To ask for someone to play it on you is totally different. I don't even think that crossed her mind. If that had, she probably would have had to make that stronger case that you keep talking about having, this really 4-person alliance on a 6-person tribe.
Yeah, and now let me ask you too, do you think that tribe ever doesn't lose before a merge? I think that tribe keeps losing anyway. I think they're weaker by far at every aspect of this game. Puzzles, strength, swimming clearly. I think that they're worse at everything.
Yeah, usually we, get to see the tribes for the episode. I guess we can talk. Let's talk about these two new tribes. Immediately once you saw how it shaked out, it looked like, the tribe with Jason, Sydney, Debbie, Joe. Nick. No, Joe's not. Nick, right, Nick.
Neil.
Yeah. They're just so much better at challenges. And even with the puzzles, I mean, they ripped through that puzzle. You have 2 brains there. And like they said, you have a little bit of everything. 2, 2, 2. And that happens with a tribe swap too. I mean, we can talk about Anna getting screwed all we want, but it's almost like that's part of it too, that their tribe kind of sucked. It's not just that Julie had to go and live in the shelter and she's a beauty. It's like their tribe also was pretty bad.
And the weakest one was, I mean, I guess you could make an argument that Anna was the weakest one. I mean, I think
definitely
Aubrey, but they put Anna in the weakest position. They put Aubrey in the swimming portion. They didn't put Anna in the swimming portion. You know what I mean? So like they were looking at it as Anna's the weakest one here anyway. You get rid of her, you bring in Julia, who's not going to be much stronger. What I did like tonight is that they actually showed Julia on her own at this exile thing, because they have done it in the past where if that doesn't really impact the storyline, they don't show it. And I was really scared they weren't ever going to go to Julia there. But it really it gives more like character development to her, that we actually got to see some of her. Because I was really worried that like because it was Julia who went, we weren't going to see it at all. If it was Jason, we would have seen it for 20 minutes, but it's Julia. We're not going to see a second of it. She's just going to come back, and she's really not going to get much. I'm happy that we actually got to see her there struggling, and now it gives you another rooting interest in this game, I feel like. I'm not saying I want Julia to win, but it gives you some sort of arc for this girl where you want to say, okay, let's see her overcome this.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think this was a pretty unique situation. It's not like she just got shipped off to exile. We see that all the time during Exile Island seasons that they don't show it. But because she was living on this camp, and it's like the Brawn Beach, and we've been there, and they haven't really done anything like it, I think they're going to show, even if Nick went there, we were going to see at least something. I think no matter what, we're going to see something. But I do like it. I like that we saw Julie. She looks pretty bad. It might be, I mean, is living by yourself that much harder? And I know this might sound like a stupid question, but don't you have more of the resources? Like if there's a bag of rice there, or if there's fruit, then you can eat more of that. I guess you have to boil water, but it's not like you're building a shelter. Like the shelter's built for you. You have shade. I mean, the conditions are harsh. I think it's mentally tough more than like physically.
And she's 18 years old. I think that's really what it comes down to. She's an 18-year-old girl living by herself on this island. Who knows how many camera people are out there, but they're not sending many with her for this thing. I mean, they probably had 2 or 3 cameramen out there. That's it. So it's her and 2 or 3 cameramen. Like, that's a sketchy, like, I mean, I'd be, like, you're freaked out. Anybody's freaked out in that situation. The only one who loves it is Coach. He's the only one who loves that type of situation. So you get somebody like Julia. She's 18 years old. She's had a really good thing going with this beauty tribe. She just saw Caleb get Medevac. And now she's put there by herself on this island. And like she said, I'm shaking. I can't stop. It was all mental. But she's probably got a little bit of the, if Caleb goes down, why can't I thing going on in her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't blame her if she did.
Yeah. No. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm just thinking, you could probably get more food out of it. You could probably use it to your advantage if you
Was
could.
there
I know
food
she has own thing. I don't know. I don't know if they took their things with them or anything. I'm
She
surprised.
didn't have a fire either, though.
Yeah, I guess not. I'm surprised you used Coach as that reference because of how scared he was to go to, Exile Island, Tocantins. Like he was
But he loved it.
I mean, once he was there, he didn't eat anything. I mean, he kind of built it up, but he was terrified to go originally. I guess we can talk about, the challenge if you want. Not much to get into. This was probably the most heavy strategy episode all season.
They really focused on these new tribes, and we got an even disbursement of both sides. And I love that. That's just the editing this season. Normally it'd be like, here's a tribe swap. We'll go to one tribe for like 5 seconds, and then we go to the other one, and we're heavy on the other one because that's the one that's going. I didn't know who was going. And I thought the one tribe was way weaker, and I thought they were going to lose. But when Scott Pollard was dragging that thing through the water by himself and was ahead of Nick and Kyle, I'm like, why can't they win? It's not like they have idiots doing the puzzle. It's not that hard to untie fish. Who knows? You might end up sitting here where it is the other tribe who goes because it's just like a weird thing. We've seen the Brawn lose a million things this year. So then you get Michelle or Nick who go home, and I think that's a no-brainer where Michelle goes. You know what I mean? I think she would have definitely been gone.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that tribe go just because it was, instead of having kind of 4 against 2, or we knew Ty or Anna were completely on the bottom. Jason and Sydney, they seem to be in the middle. Now, I know the obviously smart move, if you're thinking about this, vote out one of the beauty, right? Because then you don't want a beauty coming back. But there's something to it that maybe Kyle doesn't want to make the obvious choice that, like, let me show how much power I have in this tribe. And, like, he's on a new tribe with new people. They don't know how he plays yet. He's got Sydney, who's really loyal. She'll do whatever he says. I could have seen Kyle say, hey, I really like Michelle and Nick. Screw these brains people. There's still 5 brains people. I don't know. It would have been fun to see. We might get more of a chance of, Kyle and Sydney siding with the beauty now that Julie is going to return to that, other tribe.
My only thing with that whole entire tribe is, even like for the next time on, they showed Debbie talking to Nick. She's like flirting with Nick, which totally freaks me out. The two of them flirting, like they're just 2 skeevy people to me. They're weird. But it's like she looks like she's like getting in with Nick. It seems like Kyle was kind of trying to get in with Nick. It seemed like this whole tribe is almost being set up for further down the road. And I don't know if that's just me thinking they're not going to lose because of how much stronger they are, and they didn't get any weaker by, Julia goes to the other tribe. It's not like the other tribe got, Ozzy or something. They got Julia. So, like, I really don't feel like this tribe's in that much danger of going. They might go once. Every tribe loses, on accident sometimes. But man, I feel like this is a lot of setup, and like they're kind of planting seeds where it's like, well, this person kind of told this person, and then it's almost like once a merge hits, what's your better option? What's your better deal? Who are you going to go with? And I feel like that's what this is setting up for, more than next week they're going to go to tribal and you're going to see the clear divisions.
Yeah, I think we're being set up for a very exciting merge, which always happens when you start with 3 tribes and then you go down to 2, just because so many people, you can go any which way. It's very likely that Kyle and Sydney don't have to make a decision at all and just wait until the merge, like you're talking about, find what's the best deal for them. How many episodes do you think until a merge? And then we also have to talk about, maybe that's what I'm thinking. There's going to be 1 vote, but then there's potentially a medevac. We have Julie, he's not doing well. And then we have Joe, who, they put that finger in there probably to show that Peter's trying to fit back in with his tribe and let Neil kind of narrate a little bit. Seems like Neil is going deep in this game, or merge boot.
Yeah.
He's got the idol now. We can talk about that. But medevacs are still kind of looming over this season. The merge is going to be not next episode, but probably the one after that. So how do you?
I'm thinking they're going to merge at 11.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'd like to see. I guess we have our whole prediction episode, but immediately, do you think that if this tribe we just saw go, and I don't even know the names at this point, but if this tribe goes, is it just Julie again? Like, we like Ty, we know Scott knows he has an idol. Like, what?
No,
what's
I actually think that if this tribe goes again, Peter's actually done.
How does that happen?
Because now there's no fear. Well, because now there's more brains than beauty. And I think that the brains who are with Peter are already sketched out by him. I mean, it shows in the preview Joe being like, I don't trust this guy, I don't trust this guy. If a 72-year-old man doesn't trust you, he will do everything in his power to vote you out. Seriously. Because there's nothing more stubborn than a 72-year-old man.
I hear you. That is the preview, though, and that could be, it often almost always is a red herring. But no, I hear you. It's just, why would Aubrey and Joe sway? Because they fear Peter's going to join someone. Peter is an idiot. It's like he is good with his people. Like, you were on the bottom. You get a swap, and what do? You just side with Aubrey and Joe. He could have turned the tables on this game, and he just, he does not know how to play Survivor. He is terrible at this game.
He's awful. And he was such a dick to Ty. And, I really did think Ty was almost going to play the idol for Anna more to spite Peter than for any type of strategic reason. Because it seems like Peter's just awful. But it seems like Peter's also being set up for the buffoon villain. I want to say, like, Rocky. Rocky's my go-to, man. He's my go-to with the buffoon villain, where it's just kind of like, he's harmless, but at the same time, everybody's like, okay, this guy's just an idiot. And I feel like that's what's happening.
I don't know. Rocky was like a passionate competitor who just wanted to play hard. Peter's arrogant and dumb. I'm thinking more Drew Christie, where like he thinks he's like the mastermind, but he's literally doing everything wrong that you could possibly do wrong. Why?
The only thing is he survived so much longer than Drew Christie. Drew Christie just went down as soon as he thought he was in control. This isn't happening for Peter. Peter's like somehow
they're not the same exact person, but I'm saying their person.
I'm just saying.
They are very, I think that's better. Rocky had like spirit and was fierce, and I don't see that at all from Peter.
I think Peter thinks he's got spirit and he's fierce, but the editing has changed so much on the show that I think they just like playing him up as a huge idiot instead of Go ahead.
Just from his perspective, this is the perfect time to be like, all right, brains, I'm out of here. You guys screwed me over. I guess we have to credit Joe and Aubrey here to reel him back in and make them think we just didn't like Liz. We can give Debbie some credit for that. We saw that last week. But if I'm Peter, I am going straight over to Anna Ty. So,
well, here's my question for you. Next week, Joe flips out on Peter. That could very well be real. What if Peter runs over to Scott, Ty, and Julia, and they vote out Joe or Aubrey? Maybe it just took it to happen.
That's easier than I think the other way.
I think that if that tribe goes, a brain goes. I don't think it's Julia.
Okay. That's what I'd like to think. But if the brains really are the brains tribe, it would be crazy if like Peter had the perfect opportunity to flip on his tribe. It's like once you're this far and you've kind of signed up for this 3-person alliance and a 6-person tribe, you should stick to that, or one of you's going home. Like, they are the brain tribe. They should know that, but that doesn't.
Peter's ego's huge, man. It's huge. He's not somebody who's going to sit there and like let people talk down to him. Once they talk down to him, he'll flip. I really think that. I just think that they've all been coddling him for so long now. And I think next week, if Joe flips out on him, Peter could easily swap. Joe is being played up here. Joe had a pretty good episode tonight. He's just not getting a single confessional. Like, Joe was very relevant tonight. Just not getting confessional. So I really don't know what to think of Joe. So, like, I can't get in his head because all he's doing is he's adding to everybody's storylines, but we're never hearing his actual thoughts.
I think with Joe is that he's just a supporting role. So we've been led to believe Peter is a villain. Like, we're not supposed to like Peter. So anything opposite of Peter, we're probably going to be on their side. So I presume that next week, whatever argument they get into, Joe is going to be in the right, because they're not going to show Joe and Peter getting into an argument where we know nothing about Joe and we know that we're not supposed to like Peter and have Peter be right in it. So Joe will probably fall on the right side of that.
Well, and let's talk about this now, since we're talking about right and wrong. And I know we just talked about how Peter's still a dumbass. Seems like Scott Pollard got the edit because of Alicia. It seems like it was strictly Alicia, because he seemed like he fit right in with these new people.
Wait. Can you come again? You're saying the bowling thing? Is that what you're going back to?
Yeah, because I know we talked about this a lot, and I was like hard on Scott, and everybody's pretty hard on Scott, and it's like, okay, how much of it is just him being an ass? And it seemed like he was a real ass. It seemed like he got along with everybody here fine.
Yeah, everyone liked him, and I even brought up episode 2. He's the one who wheels Jenny back in. Episode 3, he's explaining how loyal he is. That's why he didn't write Jenny's name down after Jenny went home. And then he has the one episode. I guess it's multiple times where he's kind of, but again, it was to just one person. But he fell in love with Ty, just like Caleb fell in love with Ty. So I mean, there's obviously some similarities there. And Caleb, was loved by pretty much everyone.
Do you think that it helped that he got split up from Kyle, though, or Jason, or Sarge, or whatever the hell anybody wants to call him? Does it help that he got split up from him? Just because it seemed like Jason was even more toned down this week. They were both more toned down.
Yeah, I think if they're together, you look at them and you go, wow, that's Brawn, and then there's 2 of them, and they're both actually big. And I think having Sydney with just one of them, really, it's like, oh, they're just a pair. Like, it's not, nothing too threatening. There's only 3 Brawn left. You don't need to worry about it. If all 3 of them were together, that would certainly not have been good. So I think Scott, especially because he is so big and he is so physical, he's like one of those people who can kind of survive on his own. Like, look, I'm not that smart. I'll help in the challenges. I'll kind of vote with whatever. I want to keep the tribe strong. He can just kind of play that card until the merge, and he'll be good to go.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think Scott, he's going to get like the 7th, 8th place, depending on what ends up if he actually can align with anybody post merge. You know what I mean? But he's not. Yeah,
I don't see him winning at all, but I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow got to like the finals, because we're seeing so many different sides of him. He's like the funny guy or the mean guy or the nice guy, gentle giant. I don't know, the bully. Just a lot. We're getting a lot from Scott.
Yeah, and another person that I thought had a really good episode tonight was Sydney. I think Sydney's really coming around here, and out of those 3 Brawn, she's definitely the most likable one. And it seemed like Debbie was immediately attracted to Sydney, like wants to bring Sydney in. It seemed like she went to Sydney more than she went to Jason. So I think Sydney, she could find herself in the middle here where it's like, who do I want to work with? And she's so much less threatening than Kyle or Scott, when they actually merge back up. So if people are going to be like, let's get rid of a Brawn, it's going to be Scott or Kyle instead of her.
Yeah, Sydney is in a very good spot. And I think I mentioned this after last week's episode. Like, once your body goes that low, it's like what kills you doesn't make you stronger. Like, I don't think she's going to get, she's not prone to a Medevac anymore, because she already went through that. She's clear. At least in my eyes, like, if she was going to get a Medevac, it would have happened already. So
I think she's going to get it, it's going to be super, super late, like the James one that happened in Micronesia, where it was all the way, like it was almost like with 2 episodes or 3 episodes left. I think that's what would happen. She's not in danger anytime soon, I don't think. Right.
Yeah, I like Sydney's spot. She had a good episode. Michelle had a good episode. I mean, even Kyle putting himself in the middle, I mean, he vocalized that more than Sydney did. So, I mean, all around, this season is great. I definitely like the first 5 episodes of this season much more than I did Second Chance. Like, much more.
This is really cool because it's so old school feeling. It really does feel like super old school, but the strategy is there. I know there's a question on here. I know you love when I skip around like this. But I know there's a question on here, and it's, will this be a season like a Bone or San Juan del Sur, where it's just a cluster cuss of a season? And I really think that
don't mix those 2 together as if they're the same thing. That really grinds my gears. Gabon is a top 5 season. I love Gabon. And yeah, I guess they were both. I mean, San Juan del Sur wasn't that all over the place. Like, you just had a lot of terrible, terrible, terrible players in San Juan del Sur, and they went far. Gabon, you had some good players sticking around at the end. Like, you had Ken and Maddie getting all the way down.
Oh, God. No, go ahead. You can keep talking about if you want.
No. I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, I guess there is a comparison. I just want to say, like, Gabon is just leaps and bounds better than San Juan del Sur.
And everybody knows that. No, everybody knows that. But the thing is, I don't think they're really saying it so much as the gameplay and I don't think they're saying with the strategy and the players particularly. I think they're just saying this boot order is going to be completely random. Because if you think about Gabon, super random. You think about San Juan del Sur, super random. And I think that's kind of what people are starting to get the feeling of here, where like Anna goes out here, We just had Caleb get Medevac. Alicia somehow survives as long as she did. Jenny somehow went second after having a great first episode. It really is kind of all. Liz goes, third, and she had a good start to the season. So, like, it's all over the place.
Right. No, I hear you, but, man, I feel like you can go back to so many seasons and say that. And just you look at the Buddha order and you go, man, like, bummer, that person went, or they were at a good spot and then the tribe swap happened. Or I think it happens very often. I mean, when you throw out the term random, it can mean a lot of different things. I just had to defend Gabon right there. That's pretty much what I'm getting down to. Do you want to get into comments now? I mean, I know some people don't like when we break down the challenges. I don't know if there's that much to break down. I know Gamer Girl is a big fan of that. So apologies to Gamer Girl. I think let's just head right into comments.
We talked about the challenge. I mean, they swam out. Scott won. They came back. They untied fish. They did a puzzle. Like, we talked about that. And we talked about how the brains really helped. You know, Debbie and Neil. I mean, they've been great at puzzles the entire time, man. I'm scared of them.
All right, well, I'll take my apology back. That's the hell will suffice.
We don't apologize. All right, let's start off with Sarah Harkins. Would you want the red buff, or would you want to be on a tribe right away?
That's a good question. I thought about that.
Great question.
I think it depends on how you're already doing in the game, and it depends like what tribe you're on. Because if you're on Beauty, you know that they're going to be targeting your fellow tribe mates. If I was Brawn, it might not have been so bad. I think you want to go to a tribe. You want to go to a tribe because I know you get immunity for one episode, but if you go on a tribe, you have a chance to win the challenge, and you have just a chance to interact with everybody. You don't want to miss out on what's going on. I think I'm probably 10 out of 10 times going to take the tribe.
I think that this far into the game, I'd be well off socially. Like, well off enough. If I'm still in the game, I'm well off enough socially. I think that
But you've only been on one tribe. You've only let's say you're on the Beauty tribe and you go live on this place, and then one of your beauties going home. Like, that's gonna happen. So then you're only down to 3. One tribe is gonna have 2 of them. One tribe is just gonna have, I guess, one of them.
But let me ask you. Would you want to be, if you're on the Beauty tribe, would you want to be one of the beauties like Nick, Michelle, Anna, or Ty, as opposed to being Julia, who's completely safe knowing that one of the other 4 is going home? Would you really rather be on a tribe knowing that one of you is going to go home? You had a 50-50 shot of going home.
That's not.
Or would you rather go? Well, but that's how you just brought it up, because you just said
I'm saying because if you're giving me this choice, this is just, and it wouldn't be 50-50, it would be 1 in 4. But that's not the question, because that's assuming if I go to a tribe that one of my other tribe mates is going to be the one selected to be on, Brawn.
But that's how you just worded it before. You literally just said
no,
that.
Because okay, this is what I'm saying. If I go to, let's say I'm on Beauty, okay, and I go to Brawn, that means someone on Beauty went to the Brawn tribe. If now we take the other side of the question, I go to a tribe, there's a chance that someone from Brains goes to Brawn. There's someone from Brawn can go to Brawn. So you have better odds of, if you're putting yourself on a tribe 100%, it lessens the odds that a Beauty goes there in the first place.
See, I don't think I would mind it either way. And I think that this game shows Peter has no idea how close he was to going home tonight. Anna didn't think she was going home tonight. Ty's sitting there with an idol, and he still could have been blindsided with the idol in his pocket. Anytime that you cannot go to a tribal council in this game, it's great. And I would much rather go live on my own for 2 days or whatever the hell it is than be on the tribe that's going to lose. So I honestly, either way with me, I think I could recover from it. And I think Julia is going to recover from this. I don't think that she's going to be the next boot. I think that the only reason the beauties were targeted was because Julia was there. I think that she's going to recover from it, and I think I could recover from it. So I wouldn't mind going. I really would not. It's 3 free days. It's an extra place that you're moving up in this game. A merge. This might only last 1 more episode. You come back in, you got 1 episode you have to survive, and then it's a merge. And if people don't really know you that well yet, you're really not a threat.
Well, that's the name of the episode, the devil you know or the devil you don't know. There's part of that where you come in, and let's say the 1 episode your fellow tribe member went off, then next episode other tribe loses, you lose another one. You're down to 3. You literally only know 2 other people in the entire game and have no interaction whatsoever besides like the pre-merge challenges. I like my chances first you have a chance to win the challenge if you go to one of the tribes. That's like 50-50 right there. Like half the time you don't even go to tribal, and then that tribal you're just a 1 in 6. So 1 in 6 times 1 in 2 is 1 in 12. So it's a 1 in 12 shot to go. And I know it's 0 if you go to the Brawn tribe, but you come back and you're just, I mean, imagine just getting jury votes or something. Like imagine just missing that one time where you just don't interact with people and you just miss out. I don't know. I think that's a bigger part than people think. Like Julie will be okay, but I don't think she's gonna. I mean, she probably wouldn't have won anyway. It's hard to say. It really is hard to say. I'm surprised.
It really is. It could go. It depends on the type of player you are. If you're a really good social player, you can recover from it easily. I think you really can, because you can come back in and be like, "What? Look at me. I'm on this tribe now. I'm stuck." I think you can recover from it easily. It just depends on the type of person you are.
Yeah. No. I think it's possible, but I don't know. If I ever go play Survivor, which probably won't happen, I never want to be the one person who does anything. Like, get me in a group of people. Like, I don't want to be the guy who raises his hand to be the leader. I don't want to be the guy who even catches the bags of buffs and wants to hand them out. Like, I want to just be in the background. No reason to vote me out. No reason.
That's true. That's true. It's good strategy. That's why I never get on.
Good question.
You're boring. That's a great question.
That is a very good question. I didn't even really cross my mind.
All right, let's see here. Ash, I wanted to support Peter because he's from Minnesota and a doctor, but he's completely unaware that the game doesn't revolve around him. Yeah, the guy's an idiot. Ash, he's gone to 2 tribal councils where he was super coppy. He thinks he has the numbers and that no one else is playing the game. It's bound to bite him in the butt and send him home. It's coming. I mean, they're building this up. It's going to be a downfall. There's going to be a downfall here. He's not going. I don't think he's going to the end.
No, he's winning. This is the winner's edit.
Is this the winners? This is the new winner's edit? He's kind of like, he kind of reminds me of Albert from South Pacific, where he always thinks that he's in the right, and he never is. He's always being outplayed by everybody around him.
Yeah, I think that's a way better comparison than Rocky. And I think Peter's definitely more arrogant, though. I think he's Drew Christie, Albert cross.
Makes sense. I like this. I like what we found. Albert's just so forgettable. I forgot he even played. Derek Young, brains are all now in power positions, just like Denise and Malcolm in Philippines. Is this the intentional Matt Singh? A good strategy. I don't know if that's.
I don't try. Just want to. I think you said brain, or I heard brain.
He said Brawn.
I'm saying you.
Oh, well, I was reading. I'm not a good reader.
Sorry, I just want to make it clear. Ground chat.
Is the intentional Matt Singh a good idea?
I don't know. Again, I would say I would not intentionally do it, but if you get to a point where they were with Alicia at last, where it's like you have a solid 3 and you have one person that's clearly on the chopping block headed into a swap, then yeah, throw that challenge, get her. But if I'm on a tribe of 6 and it's a 3 tribe start, no way am I saying, guys, let's lose this challenge so we can become really low in numbers, because how you can't make that happen. And if you suggest that, they might throw the challenge and vote you off. Like you.
Exactly.
If it happens naturally, yeah, maybe throw one challenge right before the swap because you kind of know when it's going to happen. But you can't actually intentionally do this from the start. That would be bonkers.
Here's the thing. If Debbie actually does go to Nick and side with Nick, Jason and Sydney are no longer in control. It was just one episode where it kind of looked like they were in control. And it was no longer a good idea to lose all your tribe members. And it's not like Malcolm and Denise.
What? Sydney and Jason, are they in the middle though? Like,
yeah, but he's saying that they're in control. He's saying that they're in.
I think they are in control. I think they are.
What I'm saying is, next week, if Nick and Debbie actually team up, like the edit is kind of hinting at, they are no longer in control. So really, this intentional Matt Singh did not work out. Because the other 2, there's too many other people in the game, and because I think people have seen it work before, I don't think it's going to work every time. And especially Denise and Malcolm. They're underrated for how fantastic their social gameplay was. Not strategy, not physical, just social. Their social game was incredible. Both of them. Other than Malcolm's little mess up at the very end of the first game, his social game was flawless, and so was Denise's. I mean, that's why Denise got all her votes. She was strategic, but it was all social. Jason and Scott aren't that great socially. Sydney's kind of good socially. It seems like she's a little bit better than the edit might be leading on. But, these guys can't hide. Malcolm and Denise could hide behind their great smile and their witty jokes. These people can't hide. So I don't think it's always a good situation.
I don't think it's always a good situation, but if you come to a point where like Alicia definitely will flip come a swap, then you throw the challenge. I think that's that's very valid. I don't want to look at the preview and say now they're not in power. Like we have to wait till the episode. And I'm not saying they 100% are. It could. It could. And then it's not just Matt Singh. Obviously we have to talk about Luzon, the original Brains tribe. Their swap, they all three stuck together. So we've seen it both ways where, Malcolm and Denise, where they went to separate tribes, then we've seen them all stick together. It worked out pretty well for both parties. So I don't know. We'll have to kind of wait to see how this one shakes out before we.
But if you go all the way back to All Stars, it happened there too. And yeah, Rupert and Jenna were literally dragged through the game after that, and Ethan and Jerry were voted out pre-merge. So like
going down to four isn't. I think you got to hit 3 to be counted as like a very low tribe. Going down to 4 is not that bad.
They were split up though. You know what I mean? Like they were still split.
It's true. No, it's true. They were.
But I hear your point with the 3. That is way more losses. And Curtis, this feels like deja vu. Will, I am so sorry. Do you think Joe could get Medevac first finger just like James was?
Definitely. He get Medevac for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, I think that he definitely could, but I almost feel like they really did show this more for Peter's storyline than Joe's. I think they kind of wanted to show Peter like trying to fit in, and like I don't think they really played this up as like a serious thing. I think they almost played it up as like look at Peter trying to be the ER doctor and like Joe's fine. You know what I mean? But it was swollen and it was pretty gross, so who knows?
Yeah, I think if we hadn't heard about so many Medevacs headed into the season, I would have been like, oh yeah, just exactly what you were saying. And I think it 100% is to show, Peter was trying to fit in. But now I am really thinking like Joe could get Medevac. We also have that Liz line still hanging over our heads. Joe's the most likely to get Medevac. So, these are 2 things now that, leaning towards a Medevac for Joe.
Liz, never forget.
I'd give it like 1 in 4 that he gets Medevac. There's like a 25% chance he goes by Medevac.
Yeah. Okay. Giovanni Oriana, do you think Scott and Jason will be nicer now that they are split apart? I do. I think it was shown tonight.
Definitely. I think Scott's a nice guy. I really think Alicia was just you have those people where like everything they say just irritates you, and like that. I think that was like it was just the perfect storm of Scott and Alicia.
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana. Yeah. It was like Tyson and Sierra. Sorry, but I had to throw that out there. Like how they just hated each other.
Yeah, and there's probably someone that like really hates my voice, but if they listen to this podcast, they can just kind of turn it off and leave. When you're out there on Survivor, it's like, no, you're living with them. That's one of 4 people you are spending 24/7 with, so it brings out the absolute worst in you. So,
yeah. Giovanni, who's more conceited, Peter or Nick? I think Peter, because I think Nick almost does it in like a half troll way. Like I think he plays it up a bit that he thinks that he's this great. Peter, I really do believe thinks like he's God's gift. You know what I mean? Like I think Nick thinks that, but like almost like in like a way like where I would be like how I keep saying I'm on the beauty tribe. You know what I mean? Like I could be on the beauty, the brawn, or the brain tribe. I'm that good. I feel like that's more of like the vibe Nick gives off, where it's a little more played up. Peter's I think is like 100% real.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Peter is. At Tribal, Jeff was trying to explain, people like lie in this game, Peter. Like they don't tell you like always exactly what they're going to do. And Peter was like, well, yeah, but that won't happen to me. Like I know we're good. But so far he's right. But it could have been him in the Liz vote. It could have been him tonight.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't even know it.
He has no clue. He has no clue.
That's what's wild about it. Hang on one sec. So yeah, so then the next one, Giovanni, I think when Caleb was evacuated, it broke the beauty tribe because now Anna, the leader, is out. What do you 2 think? I think that Michelle and Ty are fine. I think Julie is going to be okay. Nick, I'm a little more sketchy on just because he's not getting great at it. But I could see Ty or Michelle walking out of here as a winner. So I don't think it really destroyed them. I really don't.
Yeah, I think it just destroyed their unity. You look at if they had gone to a swap with 6, it's possible that 4 and 2, and then the 2 might be screwed. I don't know. they're probably come a swap if you're the number one tribe, and this has a lot to do with the intentional matching. If you haven't lost a few people, you're become the target, and like that's how it was tonight. Everyone was like, "Well, beauty, you got to get beauty," especially because one's coming back. But that's why you think, and I'm now thinking Brain is very likely to go next week because they have the most people.
Yeah, because I think that had Joe been the one who gets sent to exile, let's just say, and it's split 2 on one tribe, 2 on the other, a Brain is going.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And then a beauty would probably follow the next week. So I think the Brains are targeted next week, no doubt. It's just going to be a matter of there are still 3 Brains on a 6-person tribe. If that tribe loses, how can they split that up? I think they're going to find a way, though. I really do. Whether it be using Ty's idol or just pulling over one of the Brains, like Peter, who's a little more on the outside.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's what makes the game fun. It's not a strictly numbers game. Okay, let's look at who has the most next on the list. It's like, no, there are people out there who get along, don't get along, idols, challenges. So, that's why we watch.
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, do you think Scott and Ty will have a bromance like Ty and Caleb? I don't think it'll ever hit that level, but
hey, it might. I mean,
plan it up.
Scott really, really loved Ty tonight. I mean, he even said it, like he's got a man crush on him. So if they both go deep in the game, I think it can be their relationship can blossom longer. I don't think Caleb's and Ty's, they never really reached their peak. They didn't really have a chance. So I'm rooting for Sky. We'll call them Sky.
Sky. SKAI. Sky.
That's it.
That's
Hashtag
beautiful.
Sky.
That's beautiful. Let's see here. Johnny Burtek, surprised with Anna being voted out before the merge. I think this is the only way she was getting voted out before the merge, was kind of getting screwed by a swap. And that happens all the time. It happens to people all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Anna's a bad player. I think she's probably a pretty good Survivor player, and sometimes the cards don't fall your way. She's a poker player. She knows that. She caught a card on the river that didn't work in her favor. I think she set herself up.
Kelly Wentworth vibes.
Yeah, she set herself up really nicely. Had a great alliance, was pretty much the leader of it, and then Julie gets picked to be alone, and it's beauty 100%. So
yeah. Johnny Burtek again. How has Will been able to handle watching Survivor without seeing his woman crush on the TV? And I'm going to add in now, how are you going to be okay without Anna there too, Liz's twin? You never thought you'd lose both pre-merge. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, I did not think I would lose both. I mean, I'm okay. It's kind of funny. I mean, Michelle's still in the game though, so I gotta hop on Michelle. That's your winner pick, which kind of sucks because it's more fun when we disagree and can make fun of each other. But I've been a Michelle fan pretty much since the beginning. I mean, I liked her video clip. I said she was like a little ditzy, but from the premiere, I kind of revoked that judgment on her just because she did have some really insightful confessionals. She seems to be doing well. So, Michelle, you're up. So maybe we should be worried.
Can you jump to Julia so that Michelle can last longer? Because I don't want Michelle to go. Pick somebody you don't actually like so they can go home.
I've actually been really crushing on Peter lately.
Thank God. Oh, good.
So, I mean, he's now like my guy. So
I think what's working so well here right now is there's a lot of likable and a lot of dislikable, but there's no like despicable characters right now. And I think that's kind of not yet. And it could be coming very easily. Scott was getting there, and then this tribe swap helped him. But I think that's why this season has such a nice dynamic right now. And like you can say like the Peter thing, but like you don't look at Peter as like a bad person. He's just a buffoon. And that's when Survivor's at its best. You don't need bad people on the show. You need people who are just unaware on the show. And then a lot of people who are aware. And it makes for good strategic gameplay. It makes for a lot of fun.
It's almost like it's a matrix. So you have like, the box with 4 corners, and it's like good, aware, good, unaware, bad, aware, bad, unaware. And those are like the 4 different types. Wow.
Yeah.
We should do a Survivor Matrix podcast off season.
We should put one up. People would eat that shit up. Oh my God. Reddit. I can see our 1,000 upvotes on Reddit right now. I can see it. Front page forever. Giovanni Oriana, how does this swap compare to the other 3 tribe formats such as Philippine All-Stars, Worlds Apart, Cagayan?
I think this was like the worst one, right? It has to be because of the whole Julie thing. I mean, looking at the swap itself, I mean, episode-wise, this was a great episode. I don't know what is that the question? Like, what was the better episode, or
no, it's not. I mean,
the
you can
swap
go either way
itself?
with it.
I think the swap itself is, I mean, all those other swaps, they happened at 14. So you had 2 tribes of 7. This was just like, this literally just shot the beauty tribe in the foot. And it could have happened to the Brains tribe too. I mean, it would have been equally unfair if a Brain had gotten it, because it was 5 and 5. No one was going to, it gave no incentive. There was, look, so 10 out of 13 times it was going to be someone getting screwed. And that's 77% of the time. Like, that's not good.
The mathematician over here. Jesus, slow down, Brains. Slow down.
I mean, I have a calculator on my computer. I'm not gonna pretend I did that in my head.
Okay. Well, here's what I think. I think tonight was the most interesting out of all of them. I don't know if it was. I think that it was the best episode. I think it was the most interesting. I don't think that it was the most fair. I think it was the most unfair by far. But it's definitely it's just how the season's going right now. It seems like this is going to be a season where somebody's going to win, and it's not going to be fair that they win. And I'm okay with that, because some of the better seasons have had shit like that. Bob won Gabon. That is a great season. He really wasn't fair that he won over people like Maddie. And
see, I don't know if it wasn't fair. I think he deserved to win that game. He wasn't the best. Bob. I don't think he's the best Survivor player ever, but he did what he needed to do to win that season. I mean,
I think somebody's going to do what they need to do, but at the same time, you look at somebody like Fabio. He did exactly what he had to do to win the game. If you look in the grand scheme of it, it's not a great win. Bob, not a great win. I love both of them. I think they're both fantastic. Neither one is really that great.
No, I agree.
And I think that's kind of what's building up here, is that you might not get somebody who's like, your Mike or your Jeremy or, or your Natalie Anderson, like where it's like a clear storyline as to why they won. I think it's going to be more random.
Okay, then here we go. This is why I scoff so much at the Gabon San Juan del Sur comparison. I think you group Natalie into that kind of was a really good player, just surrounded by a terrible cast of people who didn't know what to do. And then you on the other side is like Gabon, or maybe something like this season, or Nicaragua. It's where you have like a handful of likable players and good players, and it's kind of crazy. And the person who ends up winning, isn't the best player out there. So that might be your difference, because Natalie. Natalie for that. Natalie's a great winner. It makes me more entertaining. Great player, but she had just no one around her, like no competition. No one was going to win that season.
What I'm hoping with this season is I don't know who the winner is with 5 episodes left. That's really what I'm hoping.
Wouldn't that be nice? That has not happened in. Man.
Well, last season was a little bit because we were really feeling Spencer.
Yeah, I mean, Spencer was at least a worthy contender, but it'd be interesting to watch our episode, whatever, 8 or 9, podcast where we really Jeremy has this thing. I think Spencer had one big episode late that was pretty good, but I mean, Jeremy did have a very steady kind of edit down to the win.
Right. Tom Azenberg. Will you mad, bro? # Survivor, # Blindside. I love it.
I'm not mad. I'm really not that mad.
But you lose your winner pick. That's what makes me so happy. Yeah, you called it last year.
I did. I wasn't going to get 2 seasons in a row, right? I
mean, weren't even close. At least I put up a fight last year at Wentworth. You didn't even put up a fight.
I mean, what can I say? It's you're picking 1 out of 18 people before you see 2-minute videos. I'm not mad. How can I be? That's like me. I'd be getting mad that I don't win the bracket pool for the upcoming tournament. Oh gosh, darn it! You should have gotten a perfect bracket. It's no, you're taking a stab in the dark. Hopefully it works out. I think last season, you got to at least see all the players play, so there's a little more, strategy, and you base it off a lot more information. And I think that's why I picked the right person. Had something to go on. This is kind of luck, and that's why maybe you'll succeed, because you kind of need that luck.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk about the power rankings real quick. I'm beating Will 50-43, and this was after he said we couldn't do it before the first episode, because that's
not why we couldn't. I'm just saying
you always say that's where I make up the difference, because that's where it's luck. Everything else is actually knowing what's going on, and so far I'm kicking the crap out of you. So
where did you have Anna this week? I thought I had Anna lower than you.
I had her at 7. You had her at 6. You're just dumb.
Man, because you did start with Michelle, And
I was so scared.
And I was like, dude, the beauties might get targeted. And I think I had Anna as like my first beauty starting at 6. So I don't know. I had the right idea. I did like Anna a lot. It's sad to see her go. I'm not mad though.
Let's keep moving. Larry Miller, I'll just answer your question. Your grammar is terrible, so I'll edit this for you so Will doesn't yell at you. Is there any way that Scott doesn't reach the merge?
Oh, was it a double negative?
Oh, yeah, it was bad.
I could tell. I think he makes it. I don't know. He's on his own on that tribe. They're not going to swap again. So, yeah, he makes the merge.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Tom Azenberg, it was a bad move by Scott. Now he'll be down in numbers versus brains. He's thinking too far ahead. I don't know because
I hear that though because his reasoning was like, oh, I know Jason has an idol. I know Ty has an idol. I'll be able to get the super idol. I mean, I don't know how that kind of adds up because you have to have Jason agree to it, Ty to agree to it, and then agree for both of them to give it to you. I mean, I get what he's saying about knowing where the idols are and having that information, and that is powerful, but his eyes like lit up about this super idol idea, which is like just so, it's so crazy that you're going to make a decision based on you potentially getting a super idol. I don't know, because it seems so far-fetched.
Here's the only good thing for Scott as to why it's not really a bad move. Literally nothing changed. He swaps out Anna for Julia. There's nobody else coming in, and now he can do it all over again. This is literally a second chance for anybody on that tribe who thinks they might have made a mistake tonight to just fix it. Because they literally swapped out a beauty player with another beauty player. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah. No, I would have liked to see Scott be more like, let's go after the brains. I don't know. Just because the brains, there are 3 of them on that tribe. Like, unless you take one of them out, and I know that means there's 3 beauties, but it seemed like he was getting along more with the beauties. I mean, him and Ty obviously hit it off. And then even like him and Anna, I feel like they were all sitting together. I don't know.
Yeah. Jimmy O'Connor, Debbie lost a lot of stock this episode. She transitioned from a puppeteer to coach. Don't call yourself a mastermind twice. I don't think she lost any stock this episode. I still think Debbie's on the up. Yeah. She's putting everything in motion.
No, yeah, I like Debbie a lot. I think she had a good episode. The only thing is like, is Jason really with her, or is Jason really with, the beauty people? And it could be that he's with neither, and he won't be with anyone until he has to make a decision. He might never have to make a decision. So it's hard to say. I mean, if she really got bamboozled by Jason, we're just not seeing it. That's one thing. I can't say for sure that she had a bad episode, though. I mean, because we didn't see that.
I agree.
It's possible.
Definitely not LVP material.
Oh, no way. She. I mean, now that she has some street cred from the prior episode, she can kind of not do anything big and kind of just, she's maintaining right now.
Yeah. Tom Azenberg, Michelle had a great, in quotes, episode. She had one confessional. You guys are overrating her so much. She has done nothing so far. What I said, first of all, she had 3 confessionals. And what I said is she had a great episode considering she did not go to Tribal. This bodes well for her because they played her up like she could go. And really, they gave her a lot of screen time for somebody who's not going, especially, as you said, somebody who really hasn't done anything. She hasn't done that much. But they're still managing to give her a lot of screen time. They gave Julia 1 confessional, and she was in, like, her own little world. Michelle had 3, and she didn't even go. It was more like a build-up to, like, what could happen here. And I honestly think this is one of those things where you overcome the odds type deal, and they're starting the storyline here. Like, I just really do. Or maybe she goes home next week. I don't know. But I think this bodes well for her edit.
I was going to say the only other option is that she goes home next week, and we haven't got much of her yet, so they needed to kind of give her a plug this week, make her a character, make you like her, make you feel at least something so she's not, coming out of the blue getting the boot next week. That could be the reason. I don't think so because she did have so much – she had good things early on. She had a nice premiere, had a nice second episode. Then we didn't hear from her in the 3rd episode. But I don't know. When we say great episode, it's that caveat. It's great for not going to Tribal. Like, she obviously didn't do anything big. She didn't play an idol. She didn't make any moves. But she was, edit-wise, around.
And she's insightful. Like she said, I'll sit back and wait for something to come. Like, I just have to sit back and read people and wait for something to happen. And that's positive. Like, that's a very positive thing, especially when your biggest ally is getting voted off of the other tribe. because she wasn't really just sitting back and waiting, because she was attacking and trying to throw Ty under the bus, here's Michelle taking the opposite approach, and I think it does bode well for her. I really do.
Right.
I mean, but we've been wrong so many times. Michelle's my winner pick. She's never done anything wrong. Chef got us a tweet that was favorited by Anna because he put her in it. Will's winner pick, and my crush has now been booted. No.
Anna favorited that?
Yeah. She was tagged in it.
Oh, tagged in it. But she did favorite it.
But she did favorite it.
Man, why didn't we both get the crush card?
I don't know, man.
Well, now she's going to think she was only a winner pick to me when she was much more than that.
She couldn't compete with Liz, man. All right, let's look at last week's episode on YouTube real quick, and then we'll go to this week's, and let's see if we can go through this. It's 10:30 at night.
Let's go to this. So the one from last week's not going to have anything new. Let's just do this week's.
Well, actually, there's one 59 minutes ago, and this is really important, so I really feel like I have to.
Okay.
Johnny Talks Sports. Am I the only one that thinks Julia is kind of cute, or does it just make sense because she's pretty much the same age as me? Dude, Julia's hot. Like, no, you're not the only one. And if anybody tells you otherwise, then I don't know what they're doing. That's very important to me to get that out here.
Wait, was she on the Brains tribe or the Brawn tribe? Oh, no, that's right. She's on the Beauty tribe. Okay.
Yeah. Julia's hot. Johnny, you're not alone, man. And I think supposedly somebody put on ESPN a Phil and Will followers group for brackets. I have no idea how many people are in that, but that's really funny. That was Steel Punch actually who posted that. That's kind of cool.
Right. I'll enter one of my 10 on ESPN. I'll just toss a random one in there. I have a lot of brackets. I'm trying to just hit one of the prizes on one of the websites because you can enter 10 for every website. So at work, I'm just making brackets all day.
Hey man, there's our money. That's where our tax dollars go, to Willie. Will, whatever. You're gonna be Willie every now and then. All right, man. This week's epister.
Wait, why do I get tax dollars?
I don't know, man.
I don't work.
To say something. You don't work for the government at all.
I'm not this alter ego who lies.
Hey, I never know with you. All right. Daniel Day Jesus, or Day Jesus, as Will calls him. Most important question of the night. Man, who else is going to miss Anna's boobs? Sweet, man.
It's almost like they got a boot edit tonight, honestly. I mean, they were oh my. Really, it's like they were worried they weren't going to be able to, show that the rest of the season. I mean, that's a huge selling point for the show. I mean, you watch. Here's
a question. I was saying Anna's kind of like Wentworth. You were agreeing. Does she come back because she's hot, showed strategic promise, and got booted early, and they need a girl to come back in a season not too far from now, like people are thinking 34, and she's really fresh on people's minds as somebody who got screwed?
I don't know. It depends how her social media presence is. I think Wentworth also was the daughter of Farm Guy 69, who just was cult hit on Twitter. Yeah. She did the Miss Survivor thing. She does a lot of podcasts, not ours, but other ones.
We never asked. She's asked us to do it. We just haven't allowed her.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, she just promoted herself, and she really she went after it. I don't know if Anna is going to do that. So I think it depends on that. Yeah, she has. I mean, she has all the right things to get brought back. I mean, like you said, females, there aren't as many big female characters to bring back. She did show promise, and she is very attractive. So Survivor does look for all those things when casting.
Yeah. Stephen Holt Show, do you watch Survivor Know-It-Alls before your broadcast? No, we do not. We do this right after the episode. We are Survivor Know-It-Alls. We don't need to. I
watched that the next day. I listened to it at work while I'm filling out brackets.
Just killing it, man. Keep making that money. Jiu-jitsu.
The taxpayer is actually getting my money. So, I mean,
that's true.
I just had it the other way around.
Out there.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's make it political. Jiu-jitsu. Phil, your idea of the beauties running the game makes sense, but Scott didn't want Ty to use the idol this way. He could use it, so he never let Ty use it on Anna, who'd be completely against it. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what ended up happening. He just got in Ty's ear and made a convincing argument.
Yeah, but we were kind of saying, though, how maybe Scott should have considered letting that happen. That maybe wasn't even the best move for Scott. He could have rolled with them, taken out Peter, Julie comes back, and now you're with them. You're with that four. That's what we were saying, not just that. Of course, he's the one who convinced Ty, but was that the smart move from Scott's point of view?
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. I just want to clarify because that's what the question I think was getting at.
Well, who are you putting up for MVP this week and LVP? Let's do that real quick before we forget, because we're gonna forget.
MVP, I could roll with Jason, Neil. I could go Scott too. I think Scott is in a very good position, and I don't know. It's hard to say whether him not going with like knowing a 3 beauties. I don't know. His Super Idol thing was just weird though. I don't think that's MVP material. I think Neil maybe found the idol.
Yeah, I mean, Neil found the idol. He put himself in a good position on his tribe. It seems like he's in a good spot. It could be Sydney too, though. I mean, she had a really good episode here, fitting in right away. Jason's just more in your face with it.
I think Sydney is definitely candidate. I think we just let this go to the viewers. Yeah. Who do I have? I feel like my tribe is.
You have Nick, Scott, and Ty. We weren't kidding when we said you picked the worst thing of all time.
Nick,
but you might get the winner in Ty. That's the only one left who can win the game on your team.
Yeah, Ty is not going to win, I don't think, unfortunately.
Oh, no, he could, man.
I have a terrible, terrible team. I thought that was going to work, though. I thought I was going to pick this bad team and it was going to somehow turn around. It's all right. Yeah. It's all right. Ty and Scott, they're at least getting fashion. They're players.
Yeah, everybody vote for LVP and MVP because we really don't. I mean, there's so many options here. And for LVP, I think there's so few options. I really don't know. All right, let's keep reading these. I need to go to bed. I'm old. D6 comedy. Guys, since Debbie has joined Jason, which I think she will based on the editing, is the final 3 Debbie, Jason, Sydney. I can see Debbie or Sid actually winning the season now. Agree or disagree? What do you think, man?
I mean, is the final 3 Debbie, Jason, Sydney? I would, if I had to bet, I'd say no, just because that's so specific. It could be, a variety of people. I could see it though. I mean, I could see Debbie and Sydney as winners. That's fine. I can go with that.
Yeah. And then Nikki Ippen, I don't think it's confirmed Jason is teaming up with Debbie. I still reckon Kyle will go with Nick. I even like how they changed Jason and Kyle in the same comment. I could see him definitely teaming up with Nick too. I think Jason is one of those people who keeps his options completely open.
That's right.
If he plays tonight, he played well. And right now he has no enemies who are going to make the jury. And nobody knows how much of an ass he was to Alicia because everybody who knows that is either gone or aligned with him. So I think Kyle still could be a winner here. I really, really do.
Oh,
he really can.
Sure. He's in the hunt. He's in the hunt. I'm saying that's what I'm saying. The editing this season has been just really, really great.
Peter Rubenstein, does this episode show that Scott and Jason aren't actually bullies and Alicia's just plain annoying? Do you think the theme of bullying is over? I don't think it's over, but I think that it's kind of hinting that it was more Alicia's.
I don't know. It's only been 1 episode since that. It's just like, let's watch the whole season, and if they are consistently mean to people, more than one person, then yeah, maybe they're a little bit of bullies. But if it's just like one person early on, pre-merge, then maybe it just wasn't a good fit. So,
yeah. Stephen Holt show, the light behind Will is kind of blinding.
That's what I said.
Give the update on why it's so blinding.
And Phil is like, no, it's not. Whatever. I mean,
I said nobody looks at us.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody. You shouldn't. You should have this in the background. You should be. I mean, if you want to, that's fine. But I don't know. I'm moving right now, so I don't have a good place to sit. I'm always kind of moving around, so popping different places. So I'll get a good setup at my new place.
Get your bindle. Stephen Holt show. I think the new Blue Tribe isn't going to tribal before the merge. I agree that Michelle may be the winner. Great episode for her. Great episode. He said great. He said great. He said great. Yeah, agree. Peter Rubenstein, do you guys think this is the best cast in the last 15 seasons? I don't know what Jeff Probst was talking about. Ty, Caleb, Alicia, Anna, so far are possible bringbacks. It's only been 6 episodes. Still have huge characters left. Worlds Apart I thought was going to be amazing with Max and Vince, but they ended up being awful game time. This cast is so natural. Max tried too hard to be good TV, and Vince was a Sandusky. Vince was not that creepy. That was totally played up. Come on. But I think this cast is great so far. I really love this cast, and I wouldn't be mad if any of them win right now. Like, I think they're all really cool, except Peter. I would love to see how Peter won, so I wouldn't even be mad if he won.
Yeah, no, this is a great cast. I don't know if it's about best in the past. Wait, what do you say? 5 years? That's 10 seasons.
15. No, he said 15 seasons, and really that goes back to Gabon, which was a great cast. Token Sheen's a great cast.
Yeah, well, we just have to wait. I mean, so far, I love this cast. I love the editing. I love the season. I mean, if it continues at this rate, it could be maybe the best season ever.
Wow, look at Will. Even with all of his girlfriends getting voted out so early, you're such a little tramp, man.
I mean, it is every episode. There's not been a bad pre. I mean, the pre-merge are like usually is where a season is kind of dull. It has been, I think, it's been awesome.
I agree, man. It's been.
I don't know if that's just me, and maybe just you're agreeing. Do other people are other people as high on this season as we are? I feel like people are, or they at least they should be.
I think people are kind of mixed right now. I think people are really liking it, but then like you always have you're always gonna have haters who are like, oh, I wish it was like the older ones, But I think as a follow up to Second Chances, this is surprising the crap out of me. And I think that's why it's so good, and the editing has been so good. We know everybody, and like I said tonight, Joe got 0 confessions. He's the only one to get nothing. But we got a lot from Joe. Him and Aubrey talking. He was so insightful with the whole, we could do this. Let's get rid of Anna now. He was the one who convinced Aubrey to get rid of Anna now. Like, that was all Joe. Like, yeah, he didn't get a confessional about it, but we're learning about every single one of these players, and that's what I'm liking about this.
And when I'm sitting there at Tribal, I'm like, this could go a lot of ways. I mean, usually I'm right there. I'm locked in. I'm thinking, okay, who's going? I need to figure this out. By this point in Tribal, I just sat back and said, you know what? I'm gonna turn my brain off. I'm just gonna watch the show. Obviously, anytime someone said a comment, I go, oh wait, that means this. That means this. But it was like there was a chance Anna was gonna be saved. There was a chance Peter was gonna go home. There's a chance Ty was gonna go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you want. That's what you want.
And you're invested. Like, I'm invested every time. I was invested tonight. Like, I really wanted Peter to go. Like, I was invested. Henry Alford, I think Neil, Debbie, Kyle, and Sydney will meet up with Aubrey, Joe, and Scott at the merge, form the Power Alliance. Sydney ends up winning. Other news, after Sunday's podcast, I changed my bracket. New Final Four, Nova, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Purdue. So I'll give you all credit when I get a perfect bracket. I never said to put Purdue in Final They
I like
no
Purdue.
way. Little Rock is scary as hell, though. I really like Purdue, but Little Rock is scary.
Little Rock is scary, but I mean, they don't have their 4th seed in that region is not very good. I don't think it's like Iowa or Iowa State.
No, it's Iowa State, and the Big 12 always sucks in the tournament.
Yeah, and then UVA is very beatable. I think Purdue. I think that's a good Final Four pick. I don't like Nova though. Nova is soft. They're Nova and Xavier should not be 2 seeds.
I'm saying after last night, Wichita State, man, they could be your Cinderella team because every team in their bracket chokes. They play Arizona first, they always choke. They play Miami. Come on, we went there. We know how bad that can be. They play Nova always chokes. They play Kansas always chokes. That's if they play all the best seeds that are in the tournament. It's all teams that choke, and Wichita State's finally healthy. They scare the crap out of it.
Yeah, I have a few brackets with Wichita State in the Final Four.
Yeah, they're so good. It's the same team as the 31-0 team. They were just hurt all year. Terrifying. All right, I think this might be the last comment. Peter Rubenstein, I love your guys' reasoning with the confessional about not going home with an idol in his pocket, then actually going home with an idol in his pocket. Thought it was going to happen tonight. Do you think it could still happen? I don't think so. I don't think Ty goes home that way.
If it was going to happen, it's almost like the Sydney Medevac thing. Like, once you get close to having it happen, then you're kind of in the clear. Because he said it so many times tonight even. And he knew Anna was going home. And he wrote Anna's name down even. So I think we'll be fine.
That's it for comments. I'm going to read the boot list things real quick because we didn't do it last week. I got 5 people who are still in the 20s. Everybody else is in the 30s or higher. A lot of people had Anna winning or second or third, so that was a big one. Right now we have Alexandra Haas with 20 points, Adam Klein with 22, LJNK Rabbi 26, XH Sun 25, and Itch Jeff 96 with 28. Everybody else is 30 plus. I have 39. Will, you have 43.
Okay. I mean, now that Liz and Anna are gone, though, I feel like I'm gonna crush it now.
You've lost 3 of your final 4.
And I only have 4. I'm only 3 points behind you. And I'm only 3 points behind
4
you.
points.
4 points behind you. So that's pretty impressive.
This is how the points are going to be made up. Like, now you'll end up falling further behind because my people are still in.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right, man. That's it. That was long. Let's go to bed. Not together.